Well, hello there. How's it going? I'm Crunk Chocolate. This is a match preview. I'm very excited because how did it start? This relationship has blossomed this season, but I feel like we've gone on each other's shows. We've had plenty of chats, so this has been wonderful. Except for now, I'm meeting Gary. Hello, Gary. Hello, Freya. A part of the Pride. How's it
Hello.
going, you two?
Yeah, really well, thank you. Happy to be back.
Yeah.
Nice little catch up.
Thank you for having me. It's very nice to be here, and things are going well.
Yes. I'm super excited. We'll be at Man City Men versus Brighton next week, and I'm going to the first women's Champions League match between City and Chelsea. So it's very nice. I mentioned this in the chat with Freya and I, but I need to try to I was listening to multiple English playlists, like just trying to get used to some more music. And even like I found a Manchester musician modern day playlist I've been listening to. And I mean, Gary, I'm enjoying your accent. I thought it'd be worse, or maybe I'm used to the accents, because she warned me. She's like, it is quite a thick accent. And I mean, there have been a couple of sayings that you've said that I understood what you said, but I didn't understand what you said, if that makes any sense.
It took a minute.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense. I've learned to speak a bit slower. I'm not calling the English slow, but they can't keep up with me.
Yeah, if I have a blank look on my face, just know I mean well. So,
I'll try.
Yes. Well, I figure we normally start our shows in general, especially when there are new faces, our faces shady gang. That's what we call our listeners and viewers. This is a nice little icebreaker. What is something that is overrated, underrated about football? And it can just be anything in it, a chant, a song, if you have a feeling about clothing, the sport itself, a rule.
For me at the minute, I think it's the level of refereeing is overrated. The need to provide more training. I just think in the women's game currently, the men's games are having problems using too much VAR, but I actually think that given more and more of the games are being played at the main stadiums, there's maybe a place for it in the women's game, or at least goal line technology or something, because there's a lot of things that are being missed, or there's poor calls. How many times we've seen somebody called offside and you're in line with it and you're going, they were never offside. They just happened to be really quick on their feet and you completely missed it. And I do just think that the standard needs to be improved, and the powers to be maybe don't realize how poor or the standard currently is.
Yeah, I'm with you. There was a goal in the City's last match against Tottenham that it very much was inside, but it wasn't given, and all the players were just like, yo, what are we doing?
Furious. Yeah.
Very frustrating. So I'm with you.
Yeah. I've got a couple. How many am I allowed?
Hey, we got time. Open up. Be vulnerable. This is a safe space.
Like a therapy session. So overrated. I can't stand when the opposition goalkeeper is getting ready to take the ball and everyone shouts, "You're shit." I hate it because it's every single time the keeper touches the ball. So that chant needs to get in the bin. Not a fan of that one. Wow. Players who cut holes in their socks to the point where they're not socks anymore. I understand if you've got big calves, you might want to put one hole in. But we've got, Miri Taylor on our team. she has got to the point where her socks are literally clinging on by a thread. And it's like, you don't need them at every part of your leg. What's going on? Just one at the back would be absolutely fine.
Or a bigger pair of socks.
Or a bigger pair of socks. Yes. Good.
Yeah. Well, and also that's the whole point, is for them to be tight. It aid circulation and aid you. Like, that's the frustrating thing. I mean, I get it. And Kyle Walker, he's one of the people who kind of like started that trend back when he was in Tottenham, though. I don't want to take, as a City fan, I'm sure people are like, oh, he's taking credit for it. No, he started doing that back when he was in Tottenham, and it kind of has picked up more and more. And as you said, it's wild seeing some people with, they look, there are certain people who are very emotional. I'll just say that. And they wear a lot of clothes with a lot of holes in them. And that's kind of where I figure, and I'm like, it's now injected itself into the football scene. Like, are these all people listening to the Cure and things like that? Yeah.
But no, I just feel like I look at it and I feel like, am I really old? Because now it just doesn't look professional. And like, that's where my mindset's going from. It's like, come on, guys, get a pair of socks. That's it. But no, my final one, actually, so they're all the overrated ones, is underrated, which is like the proper witty banter that should be between different sets of fans. So, you can have rivalries, but like fun rivalries, and you can, take the mick out of each other and you just go for it, have fun. But crap chants and boring ones can, get in the bin, but like witty ones are really, really underrated. So I need more of those in my life, please. And thank you. And that is my rant.
No, I agree. I was trying to give Gary a chance. I didn't know how he felt about banter or anything like that, and if he also had an underrated.
I probably haven't had as much time prep as I wanted.
That's fair. That's fair.
But yeah, I have to agree with Freya with some of the things saying, especially the socks and some of the chants, and even talking about the witty chants. There was one whenever we were at City earlier in the season, the 2-1 defeat. There was the joke that was going around the crowd from Villa fans to City, saying that they had more citations than points, and I just think it was a bit of friendly banter, poking at everything that's obviously happening to the club as a whole, and it obviously there was nothing malicious in it. Even the City fans were seeing the funny side of it whenever they were walking past us.
Hey, we get it. Honestly, especially when it comes to City, the 115, it's been happening for so long. It's very much just part of our personality that once this trial is over with, I won't even really know how to feel whichever way it goes, even though it does appear because even saying getting away with it or whatever that implies guilt. I don't think we're guilty. And what I always say is City did things, and a lot of football nowadays takes advantage of, I guess, the legalities that City did. Now it's just kind of common practice. And that's really the most frustrating thing out of all of this stuff, because it's just like, you're dirty cheats. And we can all just point at each other at all the like crappy things each team does, or sponsors that they have and things like, and it just takes us away from the people on the pitch, like playing football, playing the game that they grew up loving. And that's what we fell in love in the first place. Like, who cares what these billionaires are doing? Obviously, if they're doing like truly bad things, of course, let's handle that. But for the most part, like, let's just focus on the football. I'm a human being. What am I going to do to one person going to do to these billionaires?
Yeah, and the people at the bottom probably didn't know either.
Yeah.
Like I was going to say, in reality, every group of fans wants their owner to be a billionaire that opens their checkbook and buys all the top players in the world. How many of us grew up playing like fantasy football or championship manager, and everybody was always looking for the cheat codes where you had unlimited money, so you were going, and oh, Ronaldinho, I'm going to have you this week. You were going after all the top players, and it's just that it's like the fantasy world that everybody wanted to have. Man City are living it.
I mean, yes, and it's a very nice life. We'll keep it moving to a conversation talking about managers. And Gareth had a little bit of attention today, and it's already been, the rumor came out and then it's been shut down. But I did share on our Blue Sky and Twitter account, Gareth Taylor was asked, I want to say it was like January 17th. It was before the Manchester Derby match. And he was asked about being tied. It was when the whole Chloe Kelly thing was about to happen. He was asked about Chloe Kelly. Then he was immediately asked about Angel City. He was like, I'm not interested. I just signed a deal. I'm fully locked in with this team. I don't even want to talk about another club. And so I guess kind of hear that it's a giant nothing burger and it's been pushed and shut down within a matter of hours so people can move on. I'm also an Angel City fan. So the last thing I want him to do is leave Man City just to go to Angel City. That's the last thing I want him to do.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's hard, isn't it? Because he's kept Man City up at the top and in and amongst it. But then when you think of the silverware side of it, where City probably should be, there's that element of, well, is it time for a change? Because he has been in for so long and it doesn't look like he's any closer, really. And if anything, probably further out than you're probably where you probably should be. But yeah, I think it's the time where, because I know Mark Skinner as well, his contract's due up and they're in talks, and people like a rumor, don't they? So they can try and plot where's going to happen next. So yeah, do you think he will stay though, or do you think he'll leave?
I would like if he left. I am kind of over the Gareth Taylor experience. I don't know. It's not great, especially seeing, I understand that so many players, big players, are going to choose Chelsea, and I understand why, the history, it's Chelsea, blah, blah, blah. But it's frustrating watching star after star after star after star go to Chelsea when Man City's right there. And you would think if you're a big star, you could actually get some minutes, whereas Chelsea have so many. They're truly like 2-3 deep in certain positions, and they need to be in every competition in order to give all of these players playing time. Like, we've seen it with Fujino. Like, there was no reason why she should have been able to come in and get Chloe Kelly out of there, but she did. And it's just because talent and the intensity. Do you want to fight? All of these things that I also think City kind of needs as a culture. But Roebuck came out and had a conversation and talked about how she felt leaving City and her relationship frame with Gareth Taylor. We heard what Chloe Kelly said. We've heard what all the other people from years ago have said about Gareth Taylor. And he always says the same thing. And when he and actually it's not really the same thing. He basically just goes, I think it's just a misunderstanding because we're good. It's like, these people are saying you're not good. So why are you telling us that you're good? It's obviously one of us is lying. And I'm unfortunately going to believe not. At first I might have I think it's all of it. Yes, these players don't like getting iced out, but he needs to be better at communicating why he's icing these players out, why they are struggling to get playing time, because Chloe Kelly definitely should have played some time at the beginning of the season. We understood and we're seeing how good Fujino's playing now, but for the first 2.5, 3 months of the season, she wasn't great. And Chloe Kelly definitely should have played some time, and that wasn't handled well. And I thought at least maybe he was explaining to her, or something was up. And now we're hearing from other people. I just want that out of here, because if he's the reason why we're not getting stars, he's going to continue to be the reason why we're not going to get stars.
Exactly. Yeah. And then if that does change, then you can see whether it was actually him, or if it was someone else.
Yeah, but I'm okay with finding out, honestly, at this point. Yeah. And I think he's a decent manager. I just watch him talk, and even just kind of, he doesn't, and I've always said this about him, he just doesn't inspire me. He feels like a yogurt parfait in the morning. Like it does the job. Like it looks nice, but like it's not really like anything like special, fancy. It just gets the job done.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. I was going to say, and we can say a thing or two about managers this season as well.
Which one?
Let's say we're on to our 10th. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, we can even stay there because when we first started Shades of Blue, Villa that was the great season you had. Three years ago. Next week is our official 3-year anniversary of SOB, and y'all had a really good season. And we kind of were always like, all right, the next season will be the next year for them. And I think this season was the first year where we're like, yeah, we don't know about Aston Villa anymore. Like, obviously, we got tricked for 2 seasons, no more. Now, that's me just being a person from the outside. Y'all are in the house experiencing that. So, like, how has that experience been, really?
It's felt, hasn't it, Gary, that we're not actually, it's felt like we're watching it like of an outer body experience of just watching it all go wrong, in various shades. Because so obviously Carla left, and that was a decision that she made for her, and we were like, right, we're right behind you, lovely. Robert DePau came in, and again, we've spoken since, haven't we? And we've gone, he came in, he was saying the right things. It looked like it could have been a fresh start. And then Gary, it started to feel a bit weird, didn't it, around Robert DePau, and these stories started to circulate, and then in December it was, right, he's now left. Okay, lovely. Then Sean Gorter, who we know from City well, took the lead, and we did fairly well. He only had a short time, but we did very well. And then they brought in Natalia, who, again, she's saying all the right things, but unfortunately hasn't worked yet. And it's just been a bit of a roller coaster. And we were saying last night, on our pod, has it just been too many changes too soon and all at once? So the team don't really know if they're coming, if they're going, who's meant to be where. We've seen some strange positioning. We've seen strange substitutes during matches. Like, just nothing's been free flowing. And I even said that, Gary, I can't remember if I said it to you or not, or who I said it to, but Villa have been sharing the footage from this fixture 2 years ago when we won it. And the team there looked so joyous and so full of life and so full of just happiness to be there. Yes, they've just beat City, but like there was just like a freedom in just the way they were. And at the minute, that doesn't feel like it's there, which is really, really, really heartbreaking to see. But yeah, it's hard this season, to be honest.
I think on that front, those were the players that were playing under Carla. And although the current squad is very much the same core, Carla was a bit more relaxed and done what she could to actually protect her players. As much as she was a bit, she wasn't as direct with her interviews after matches and so on. She always sort of tried to take the blame rather than pointing out players. And, we've even noticed a difference in the players' social medias. Whenever you looked at the social media under Carla, all the players were really, really active. Maz done her vlog every week. She didn't miss a beat. Robert came in, and that all suddenly started to disappear. And then Robert kind of done things back to front because pre-season, he was sort of playing the players that we always thought was like our strongest 11. And, pre-season was great. He won every game and except obviously against, what was it, Charlton? That was 2 each.
Charlton, yeah.
But, then he got into the league. And we all looked at the team against Chelsea and thought, yeah, fair enough. And they've done the job. All right, we lost the match 1-0, but if you go for the first match of the season under Robert, everybody was like, oh, fella could really be contenders. They could be doing this, they could be doing that. We're, 4 points above the relegation, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy that he waited until the actual competitive games to start playing with the squad, and you can suddenly start to see that players were uncomfortable. Daly was playing at 10, but we still had Kenza, who's arguably one of the best 10s in the league. Now, obviously, Kenza's got frustrated and she's left. Leon was being left on the bench often enough, and now she's got frustrated and left. So we've lost two of our best players. And I think that all started with Robert. Between the stories that came out and so on, then the few games under Sean, we started to look a bit happier. They were playing with a smile again.
Yeah, and even the match that we played against y'all, yeah, City won, but you looked up for it. It was great seeing Goder, and the fact that City lost him, and I was very upset. And it was, Emma says here that when Goder came, the energy atmosphere changed a lot. Bunny talked all last season about how great it was to have him around, how much she learned from him, how he would help during practice. He seemed to very much love being at Manchester City coaching. And for us to lose him, actually lose basically the entire staff, I'm still sure he needs to hire 2 more people. But he hasn't been able to find his assistant staff, his backroom staff yet. He hasn't been able to fill it out. And I think there's a reason for that. And that's another thing that I hold against Gareth. Like, bro, you can't even find people who want to just coach under you. That people like interns, you can't find like people who are you don't have a buddy who's just like really good at set pieces or something like that. Where's your group? Where's your bubble? Like you've been playing football for so long.
Yeah.
You don't have a group of people that you can just be like, hey, come here for 6 months, help me knock out the rest of the season, and I can find a good staff. Like, that's worrisome.
Yeah, because you'd think the contacts he would have from his time in the game around it, like someone would know someone, like you said, to fill the job even for a little bit until he, found the perfect one. But yeah, that does start ringing alarm bells, doesn't it?
You would think,
Yeah.
but we've also had a lot of transition on our like sporting directors and stuff like that. And also we lost Niels. Now he's balling in Japan. To lose Niels and Goder, it's all. What are they seeing? Where Niels is like, actually, I'd much rather go, man, and I'd much rather go be a coach somewhere. Like, let me get out of here.
Yeah, jumping ship for a reason. Yeah.
Sorry, weird question on Twitch popped up.
I was going to say, I've just seen that. What?
I know Twitch has a lot of like trolls and bots and things like that. Okay, let's talk a little bit about each club's FA Cup run. There are just 2 games. I mean, Aston Villa started off very impressive, a 9-0 win against Bristol Rovers. Like, yeah, I mean, I understand they're in the league that they're in, but I'm never going to take away someone's 9-goal. Like, you still got to score 9 times. How was that? Like, that had to be a very fun feeling.
That was great for a lot of reasons, but we actually stayed in touch with the Bristol Rovers team, and we had a interview special with them, and they were so much fun, and their fans were so much fun. And going back to what we said about fan interaction and that banter, they were incredible. So I would happily face Bristol Rovers again any day. But they didn't give us an easy game. I know 9-0 sounds, brilliant, but they played right until the end. Like, they didn't give up at all. And they could have even got a couple back as well. So that match in itself was just really fun. It was a really, really fun match. But it was nice. I think that was it Gabby's first hat trick, that one, Gary?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's Gabby's only hat trick for us. In fact, she's only really scored in that one. The cup. I think she has 1 league goal and 3 cup goals.
Yeah. Because we kind of said since Gabby came in, it was a statement signing, but we didn't really need her. Like, she wasn't, needed. And then suddenly she was scoring in that game. We're like, oh, maybe this will, give her a confidence that she's going to, press on. No. But she got a hat trick, which was brilliant. Daly got a brace, and then we had Tomas, Grant, Hansen, and Byings all rounding it off as well. And I think, especially for our wingers who, again, they've been under a lot of pressure because they are so creative and attacking, but maybe goals haven't been there for them. The fact that, they could get on the score sheet again, confidence-wise was fantastic. But yeah, the fact that we could actually have so many different goal scorers was really, really telling as well. Really enjoyed that one.
but that's as you're saying, even talking about the wingers, Hansen's always been sort of one of our top performers as well. And you could see the frustration in her face. That goal against Brighton is Hansen's only goal this season, and that's unknown for her, especially at this stage of the season. The frustration's there in the players, but Bristol Rovers, that game itself was absolutely fantastic. And as Fred was saying, they did give us a game. Like, their goalkeeper was out of this world that day. She usually made 6 or 7 stops, I think it was. It could have been, it could have went up into the double figures, but the performance that they put on, despite the scoreline, really didn't do them justice, because, the 9-0 really flattered us as to how they performed against us. They did deserve more out of the game. But we're talking about the banter, our fans were singing, we want 10, and the Bristol Rover fans are singing, we want 1. It was just the making a mockery out of it, just out for the good time, and it was fantastic. It's why we've sort of gelled with them so well. And I know we've spoke with them about whenever we have an off week, we're maybe planning on doing a bus run down and actually catching up with their fans and going to a Bristol Rovers game. That's the bond that's been developed from a 9-0 game.
Yeah.
I love that. So on the men's side, but it's same city, same passion over here. Kind of with that, Orient, Salford, and Plymouth very much played teams. And I know it's just championship, but the vibes were just always great. I've been able to have a match preview with podcasts from each team, and they've been delightful. They're like our most watched shows this season are those match previews, because all of their fan bases hop over to watch it. And it's just so nice. They were excited about playing City instead of like hating about City. They were just like, no, this is really cool. We're about to play Manchester City. What are you talking about? Like, and you never really know, especially when I have these conversations with people, it could go bad. Like, it could come on and then they could just like rail at me for being a part of the machine. But for the most part, we do a great job at just, building relationships and having fun conversations. So yeah, I love to hear that the vibes were nice between y'all and Bristol Rovers.
Plymouth sold out their own allocation for that game.
Yep.
I had a couple of friends who are Bristol or Plymouth fans. They actually went and got City scarves and hats and bought their tickets in the City end just so that they could be at that game. But they were Plymouth supporters, sat in the middle of the City supporters.
That's hilarious.
That's how much they wanted to be at that game.
Wow. And that actually leads to a whole other conversation, because City fans have been they've been very loud about how easy it is for an opposition fan to get a ticket to the Etihad, where there are a lot of City fan Manx that would love to be at these games but are either priced out or for some reason they can't get a ticket. And I mean, that kind of goes right into it with our match against Real Madrid. There were Madrid fans in the City supporter section, and it wasn't a great game for City. Ended up losing. So you're supposed to be surrounded by other Blues, and all of a sudden you got Real Madrid people all around you, like talking smack. Like it was not great. It was not great. But City's 3-0 win against Ipswich Town. What I really loved from this, we got to see Blinkille Brown played, Lily Murphy, Gracie Pryor, Coombs. That was her only goal that she's been able to score for City this year. That might have been her last match that she was affected before she got injured. She's only just returned. I would like to believe she's gonna start. I guess we'll see how healthy she is, but it's a cup competition. Bunny Shaw hasn't started either of the matches. I believe she was injured in the Ipswich game. Leicester City, that was a couple of games after the racist abuse that she got at. So I'm not sure if she wasn't a part of this roster because of that or because it was a cup competition, I believe. So yeah, we'll see. But this is our only chance to possibly win a trophy. I would like to believe we're going to see Bunny Shaw in this match.
You'd think, you'd hope. Not from a Villa perspective, but
yes, for sure. And then a narrow victory against Aston Villa. A narrow win over Brighton for Aston Villa. There we go.
Yeah, that did look comfortable until Nikita Paris did her thing again, and got that late second goal, and you just thought, oh, is this going to be Villa again? Right, thrown away a lead, taking it to penalties, and then losing. Like, you could just see it play out. So the fact that they held it right to the end, it was like, oh my God, we've done it. Aha, it can be done. But that looked, I mean, I don't know if you saw any of the highlights, but the pitch was disgusting. Like, the pitch was awful. And you just thought, this is a crap game for everyone involved. So the fact that, we did actually win it was, I don't think anyone was expecting it at all. But hey, we'll take it.
Yeah, I'm looking up trying to look up the pitch real quick.
A wins again. We haven't had many of them this season.
Well, exactly. Yeah, we'll take the wins when we can. Because it was at the Bescot, which of course used to be our old home. And the men had played on it the day before, Walsall. And when we got to it was just a mud.
You can't see it. Great. Yeah, well, I was gonna say there is like a little patch where it looks specifically like there's like a mud pile, and that was like the match against Tottenham. It was at the Gone Group Stadium where Orient had played the previous day, and it looked like it on the pitch. And there would be passes, and the ball's just on its way to the players. Like it was so frustrating. We're just like, what is happening?
It's just even funnier when like you can see their legs moving, but they're not going any quicker. Yeah, and they're just really trying to like a cartoon, man. And they're just I felt so sorry for them. It must have been so exhausting playing on that surface. Like,
I remember there was one time the ball just like rolled down a walkway, and the workers there just kind of watched Bunny Shaw run down and chase after it in boots. Just like, this is not great. We were just screaming at it because we were doing a watch along. So I'm just like screaming, what are they there for? What are they getting paid for? They're just standing in their little space, just standing there watching her. It's like, I hate those guys. If I was at that stadium, I'd be cursing at them right now.
Yeah.
Oh man. And then 3-1 win against Leicester City. Oh, Ruby Mace injured herself, but we were able to see her again. She played pretty good. She was the one goal, if I remember correctly, for Leicester City. And it was a solid win. Wahhabi Carolyn, that was her crazy little cut-in chip goal that she scored, and then did the bow.
Yes.
Then Bunny Shaw. Yeah, it was great. That was the first match of Fujino we were seeing her playing positively. Like that was the beginning of her run, was that match specifically. That was when I was like, oh, she's starting to cook. But again, it's unfortunate that the season started in September and the first match in February was when I was like, there's the Fujino I knew we could have.
Yeah, having that adjustment period. And it's harder, isn't it, when you know what they can do and you've seen what they can do in other leagues and for other teams, and you're just waiting for that to transfer over and hoping that it does.
Yes.
That's the frustrations we have had all season, because we know the players could perform better than they're performing.
Yeah.
We've seen it on the same pitch that they're playing on at the minute, and it is frustrating whenever you know the talent that they have, and it's just not shining through this year.
Massive wall in front of the goal. That's the issue. They keep building a brick wall in front of the goal each half, and just don't let us go. That's what it is.
Gareth has done a pretty good job at embracing rotation with this cup competition, whether he's kind of been forced to or what. Has Aston Villa done any rotation, or is the squad deep enough to do that?
No. No, not even slightly.
I think earlier in the season we did. Well, we did have better rotation earlier in the season because, like Maz wasn't playing because he usually had Moritz or Tomas playing on the left, and Mailing spent a lot of time on the bench as well. But now with the injuries that we've had and the players that have left, the rotation it's gone. We don't have the same depth that we had at the start of the season with the lost players through injury or departure.
Yeah, I've had a lot of injuries, and like setbacks with injuries as well. So you think, oh, they'll be back and then they'll be gone again. And like Lucy Staniforth, Rachel Corsi, like they keep getting set back. Maz been out again. And like Emma said, like at the beginning of the season, we had the players, but they weren't being rotated because they weren't in favor, or there was something again going on there. But now we physically don't have anyone really. We've got 5 on the bench, including a goalkeeper. So it's tough because you can see, especially those on international duty as well, how they need to be rested, but then we haven't got the depth to then really start anyone else and have an impact. And it's just it's tough at the minute because they're talking about we'll rebuild in the summer, don't worry. And it's like, but we need to get to the summer to see where we're going to be, because some players probably won't want to commit because we don't know what league we're going to be in next season, and that's harsh reality, unfortunately.
Do you really think you could fall behind Leicester City though? Because they're I won't say they're woeful. They seem incredibly unlucky.
Well, we are behind Leicester City. We're just above Crystal Palace.
Oh, sorry, Crystal Palace. Sorry, my bad.
Palace, the thing is, though, it's 4 points, and as much as Palace probably won't get them, we can't rule it out because they're such a tenacious team. If anyone could do it, it could be them. But we just need to stop losing. Like, even if we just nick points from whoever we can, it's not going to be easy with the fixtures coming up. But I think we worked it out. Even if for some reason we drew on points, Crystal Palace's goal difference is still really, really far,
Okay.
behind us. But yeah, if they get another point, then goal difference doesn't matter really, does it? So precarious.
Genuinely, our game against Palace is a real 6-pointer. That's going to be mega great.
I wasn't aware that. Yeah, and that's next week too. Wow.
Yeah, we have to go to Palace. Anything can happen in that game, but genuinely, we can't lose, or we are really in trouble.
I will be there. I will be seated and watching that match. Wow. Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be like, I think people will still be, tuning into your Chelseas and your whatevers, but honestly, that's the match that's going to decide relegation. That match, like it's all resting on that one.
Oh yeah. Oh man. When is it? Oh, it's 9. It's too early in the morning. Yeah, I won't be in London by then. Yeah, I won't. I will be still packing up from my. How will I watch that match? Because I'll be in England. Like, because it's YouTube here. Is it YouTube also in England?
Yeah, it should be, unless it's been streamed on Sky Sports, but I think it's just on YouTube, that one. I think.
Okay, cool.
If it's not YouTube, there's also the slight possibility it's BBC. They seem to get a couple of the games.
Yeah.
These are things that I'm still, like, my brain isn't registering. Like I was talking about, we do a Thursday night live stream every single time, and I was talking about doing that next week, and I was like, wait, I'll be in the plane. And they're like, yeah, we know, we'll be fine. And I was like, I know you will. My brain hasn't fully accepted it. Well, let's talk. And I know this team's struggling, so I guess try to think hard or gives players the benefit of the doubt. Who is a forward, a midfielder, and a defender who could make a difference in this match for Aston Villa?
Forward always has to be Daly. Although she hasn't been scoring as much as she has in previous seasons, neither has the team. She's still our top goal scorer. In the league, she has 5 and 15. If you compare that to Bonnie Shaw, who has 12 and 14, you can kind of see how far off the top goal scorers in the league Daly is. Whereas she is a natural finisher, but she's been playing in number 10 most of the season. And to be honest, we've seen her spending more time in our own 18-yard box than we have in the opposition's. She's really just dropping back further and further. We are struggling, and Daly will run herself into the ground no matter what. But unfortunately, she's also not in the part of the pitch where we really need her to make a difference. But if she's in that part of the pitch, she can and will make a difference.
Yeah, 100%. I've gone a bit rogue for my forward. I've gone for Ebony, I've gone for Ebony Salmon. Because every time she comes on the pitch, she comes on with a purpose and she comes on with a fight. And I think a lot of the time this season, we've looked a bit lost and we've looked a bit out of sorts and not really had a plan B. Like, if plan A is not working, it's like, oh, right, if we just try and pass it and then maybe something will happen. But whenever she's come on, and especially at the weekend against Everton, she was pretty much our brightest spark when she finally came on. So I don't think she'll start, but when she does come on, I think you'll have to watch her because she can be very, very, very dangerous indeed. So, bit rogue.
Oh, I like it. I feel like I agree with you because I'm trying to think of when she came on. Yeah, I remember her coming on in the game that we played. She stressed me out a little bit. Yeah, I do remember that. So yeah, I mean, that's fair. And for us, I think Bunny Shaw, naturally, she's important, but from what we've seen, Bunny will get hers. Like, she will be successful no matter the circumstance. And the team has been playing woeful these last couple of games, and who's all but, disappeared, which is understandable because she plays a lot of football also for international club and did a lot of traveling. Mary Fowler, she's kind of struggled these last couple of days, and after she was on quite the run, and she just she seems low energy, and with her, there's always a calm about her. There's like a calm intensity, but that can quickly kind of turn into, just like a lethargy, which she did seem to have over the last couple of games. But again, I know she's played international football. She did a lot of traveling. Gareth said the same thing, like with Australia, and the way that kind of Australia fell out of the She Believes Cup, because they should have gotten third, but they lost that third place match and ended up getting fourth. So I feel like maybe her confidence is just not at a high because she wasn't as effective as she normally is for a country.
Yeah, fair. And I think in your squad as well, you can get goals from a lot of different people as well. So it's not even necessarily like a forward threat, is it? It's just everyone.
Yeah, and even Roard has been invisible a lot of the season, and it's crazy saying that about someone like Joe Roard, but I think she is truly struggling at where to fit in with Bunny, Miedema. Fowler's now doing her thing. Fugino, who needs a lot of the ball to be effective. Jess Park is starting to step up into her own as well. So it's just like, where does Roard fit into all of this? And a lot of it is just like being a poacher, but that's not her game. It's like relying on other people to do their thing, and then she be in the right spot at the right time. She's like, no, I'm Joe Roard. Give me the ball and let me cook. But it's just hasn't been good for her this season. It's kind of been crazy.
Well, if she wants to come to Villa, we do have a lot of openings in our squad. So
she won't get good in card and blue.
Yeah, just swap the all blue for like a bit of claret on, and she'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm sure you can afford her wages, right? Not a problem.
We can sell a kidney. We can we'll have a collection between the fans. We can raise the money.
And honestly, bringing in a player like Joe Roard, that would be worth paying for her, just because like the kits and everything and the excitement that it would bring in general. So like, yeah, I don't want her to leave at all. And again, this is when you go down to your manager and you're like, manager, how do we have all of these killer players and they all just look so lost and confused when, like, just because Lauren Hemp is there, we shouldn't be struggling so much. Just because Greenwood isn't there doesn't mean we should be struggling so much. Like, just because of these, like, yes, it sucks that we're missing key players, but I can't complain with Carolyn on the pitch, Mary Fowler on the pitch, Bunny Shaw on the pitch. Like, I just sound ridiculous complaining. Like, I feel spoiled. So it's just like, that's when the manager needs to be doing better and need to ask more of the manager.
Mm-hmm. No, 100%. Yeah, it'd be. Yeah, but hey, you've got a squad, you've got depth.
We do. In midfielder, yeah. Who do y'all got? Well, I guess I ponder which midfielder.
I went for Jill Byings because ever since she's fully back fit from her injury, because obviously we bought her injured, she's been phenomenal in that midfield and isn't afraid of a challenge either. She can do the defensive bit, she can do the attacking bit, and yeah, she's not afraid to put her foot in either, which we quite like about a player. So yeah, our Jill is definitely a threat in that midfield.
But our Jill does like a yellow card or two.
Oh, she's very yellow card happy.
Yeah, because she's really not afraid to sort of get in there. But the midfielder I've went for is actually Hansen. She has to come good sooner or later. She's putting in the performance, she's putting in the work, and her talent's going to come through sooner or later. The hard work that she's putting in, these big games are where players like that have to step up. And I do think Kirsty Hansen is going to be a threat. You know, we've seen she's one of the few players that's willing to hit a shot from sort of 20, 30 yards out. So far, some of them have been, they've went close. I believe she's hit the woodwork. There's some that have went just over. But, one of them's going to go in soon.
Yeah.
Probably Sunday afternoon.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Right. Man, I didn't realize that your Jill was also Dutch. That's funny.
Yes, she is.
And Ebony Salmon, she's at least in the WSL, she's your team's lead scorer, but she can't seem to get a start. Is she specifically a striker? Could she not play like behind Daly or something like that?
She likes to come more central, doesn't she? Even if she's put out on the wing, she likes to come more central. So I don't know. I think Gary, you'll probably remember better than me, but I think if we tried Salmon and Daly together, I can't remember.
I'm not sure if we have, but the thing is, I don't think he could play Salmon behind Daly either. Salmon's too direct. Salmon's passionate. She comes on with the drive. She's direct. She's only going for goals. So I don't think she would have the mentality to play behind and look for a pass, and it's that as much as it was a joke about Daly, Daly was a left back for England. She'll quite happily play anywhere on the pitch, just to be on the pitch, and that's the issue that we've maybe seen with Daly this year, even playing as a number 10, because most of the football's happening on our half. Daly's always in our half, and then when you do get a chance to break, it's Gabby dancing on ice up front,
Okay, that's fair.
Little Bambi, bless her.
For midfield, and I'm trying to think specifically for this competition. I mean, the easy answer is Yui, but I mean, Yui is Yui, so there's not really. She just needs to be herself, and the team will do well. I would say whoever. Man, I just really hope it's not. I hope it's Coombs. I would love to see Coombs because she's a player who thinks about the midfield. Whereas when you put Roard and Medina together, like Salmon, they just want to score. They're just looking forward. And we kind of, and especially Blinky for sure. Like she does not care about that midfield stuff at all. So we just need someone who can kind of help get the ball up the pitch, because Greenwood would do a lot of that. She'd just dribble through people, dribble around people, or ping the ball perfectly to Bunny and get things moving. And we've just seen so much of Bunny having to come all the way back to the midfield. And once she gets back, why is she receiving the ball, our striker? And everybody just runs forward instead of trying to play 1-2s with her and move the ball up the pitch slowly. Yeah. So yeah, hopefully it's Coombs or whoever else in that midfield can just be a midfielder. Like let our other attacking players focus on scoring. But yeah, that's fine. All right, who do you got for a forward? Or sorry, defender. I'm backwards.
If fit, Lucy Parker needs to be there, just because she went to, obviously got called up late for the Lionesses, went to camp, didn't start or anything, but then came back and didn't even make an appearance, where usually she's our starter. So she didn't seem injured. She was warming up. She was part of it. So we don't know. There's a big question mark, and we have many questions that are unanswered. But yeah, she needs to be there because we need our strong centre back pairing there more than ever on Sunday. So yeah, we were even talking about last night, weren't we, Gary? About even if Arroyo keeps her back four, that maybe even putting Parker on as more like defensive midfield.
Yeah.
So you've still got that extra body in the way. Because there were so many gaps at the weekend. Like there was no one there like calling the shots and being that like central figure at the back. So yeah, she needs to be on the pitch. Don't care where she is, but preferably in that defensive area. But yeah, needs to be there.
I'm guilty of choosing Parker as well. You know,
Great
for
minds.
me, Parker stepped up in the big games. You know, we played Chelsea twice. Ramirez, fantastic striker, spent both games in Parker's back pocket. You know, she done nothing really against us, except for the split second that she did get away from Parker in the last game and created the goal. You know, but the majority of that 90 minutes, she was in Parker's pocket. Same again, the 2-1 defeat against City earlier in the season. Bunny Shaw done nothing that game because again, Parker just took her out of the game. I mean, Parker on form can take out some of the best strikers in the league. And on Sunday, that's going to be so important for us. Now, I know in the 4-2 game, a matter of weeks ago, Parker nor Bunny Shaw got many minutes in that game. You know, I think Bunny was only on the pitch for 13 minutes, and I'm not even sure. Like Parker maybe got similar, but certainly didn't start the game for the both came off the bench. It just for me, Parker is ultimately really, really important, but equally paired off with Patton. Patton showed earlier on in the season, she can get us a goal or two as well. Parker's the strong defender. Patton, fantastic defender, but she can get you a goal. And you need to have those threats whenever you're coming up against the better teams, and hopefully we'll get a set piece or two and maybe do something with it. If we can beat the first woman.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know who are, because Alexandria, she's been playing her little heart out in a center back position that she doesn't really enjoy. And if, oh my gosh, I'm going to say Naomi Lazelle because I think she's going to play. And I feel like in the game against Tottenham, they let her take the ball up the pitch a lot. They kind of man marked everybody else, and she definitely gave the ball away a lot. Whether she didn't know when to make the pass, she didn't know when to stop dribbling, circumstances like that, the trap worked. So I'm a little worried about that, but I'm hopeful that she can figure things out. And yeah, she's going to be the most important defender for me.
Mm. And she's got so much potential as well, hasn't she?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we're kind of spoiled by all of these young players who can be great, between like Lazelle, Grace Pryor. Oh man, why am I blanking on our young Lily Murphy and Blinky? Like there's Cody Thomas. Like we have half 6 of a starting 11 that could potentially be for us in the next few years. And then, at Keating, she's a 20-year-old. Like, we just have this very strong U21 squad, basically, that is just waiting for the chances. And all we need is I just feel like there needs, ever since we lost a couple of our players, like there's just no, especially with Greenwood out. I knew she did a lot, but it turns out she does way more than even we realize. So we need some more, like a voice, personality who can also help in case she's not there, or so she doesn't have to be the voice. Because obviously, you think it was Bunny, but also Bunny shows by her actions. So she can't really do everything, and it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah. It's hard. I wish we had some youth players. That'd be nice. They train with the first team, but then we never see them on the bench. And you just think, just get them in the environment. So yeah, even things like that have dropped off for Villa as well, which is it's such a shame because there's so much talent in our academy coming through. It's a shame we can't get more first team time.
Unfortunately, we have a habit of selling them. You know, Laura the
Then
City,
goes
Freya
around.
Newcastle. Yeah, like lives at Rangers. You know, and like
Yeah.
you know, they're all doing incredible at the clubs that they've went to. You know, we just have to look at Hannah at Chelsea. Everybody thought she was going there to sit on the bench. Clearly, that's not happening.
Yeah.
You know, Livs went to Rangers, she's killing it. Freya went down to Southampton and now up to Newcastle again. Her skills are starting to show through.
Yeah.
Laura's doing a great job keeping the bench warm at City.
Hey, she's gotten some starts. At first, I wanted her to be more aggressive. She kind of just like sat around being very passive, and now I'm just like, now you need to dial it back. Come help, support a little bit. Like you still are very much on the bottom of the pecking board, but also I love the confidence. I love the confidence that she plays with, but it's also like, come on, support all the amazing world-class players around you, and that's how you'll shine. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll get out of here with a score prediction. How do you see this match going?
I mean, we've got a running joke that it's always 2-1. So I'm going to continue.
And that is
with
how it's
2-1.
been. Yeah.
Yeah. Just hopefully it goes our way. In reality, it's probably going to go yours.
Once again, great minds think alike. I'm going with Freya and saying that it's going to be 2-1. Again, I do. You know, I think it's going to be in our favour. I think you're going to have one eye on the cup final next week, and maybe just underestimate us enough because of our recent form that we might just tip it.
Yeah, I haven't watched the Garrett presser for the game yet. I hope they're not over. Actually, no, I saw a quote where he's like, all we're focused on is this match against Aston Villa. So, I mean, he's saying it.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's also saying he doesn't have a problem with other players like Chloe Kelly and so on, but you know, how fruitful is he actually being?
That is very true. That is very true. That is very true. Yeah. I could even see like a 2-2 draw, 1-1 draw, and then we go to PKs. And if we go to PKs, it's anybody's game. I would love to feel very confident about this game, but Kanak's out on top of it. We just don't have a force in our center back. Like it's not Wahhabi. It's definitely not Liability. That's been her nickname for the last like month and a half. Yeah, and it's just a lot to put on Lazelle or Gracie Pryor, which they have done decent in their getting playing time, which it wouldn't surprise me if we see them, but also I'd probably freak out if I saw both Pryor and Lazelle as our center back duo. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm hopeful. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you two for joining. This is wonderful. Please let people know where they can find you and the things that you do.
Yeah, so you can find the pair of us as well with Emma, who's been very vocal in the chat tonight, and our wonderful panel. We talk all things Villa on a Thursday at Parts of the Pride Pod, which I probably should have put at my @. Or if you want me personally, I do lots of football writing, particularly about Villa, but even about Serie A, all things. And you can follow me there at T Writes.
Everything Freya said part of the Pride, you'll generally find us there on a Thursday evening. But talking randomly and going off on tangents quite often. But again, my own handle is attached. I'm not as vocal as Freya, but I'm getting there. You know, this is this season has been my first step into the media world, really, and I'm enjoying it. I'm growing, and thank you very much for having me.
Of course, of course. And find us at anything we do at Shades of Blue NW. If we are on a social media app, just search at Shades of Blue NW. And if we're there, you'll find us. All right. No watch along for the men tomorrow because that is just too early, and I'll be all alone. So yeah, it's just way too early for be by myself. But we will be doing a watch along on Sunday for the men on FanFest. We are actually giving away a free shirt. Anybody who joins the raffle on FanFest, any team, any player, name badges, all that stuff. We're doing a giveaway. I'll put the link on our post. Yeah. All you got to do is register to FanFest. I believe all they ask is like your name and a phone number, and that's about it. It's pretty chill. Good people. Just trying to build an app where all you do is just talk about soccer. It's like I call it like Discord and YouTube, but it's all about football. There's no extra stuff. So
Perfect.
pretty good people.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, everybody. You know the vibes. Shady gang, shady gang, shady gang.